Just happened. Princess Leonor royal wedding live from Denmark leaves Spain speechless. You know the fairy tale. A princess walks down the aisle, the world holds its breath. But what if the ceremony unraveled the script everyone expected? The union of Princess Leonor of Spain in Denmark did exactly that, turning tradition upside down and leaving Spain utterly speechless. Script body, approximately 5 to 6 minutes. We open not with the gowns or the grand hall, but with a moment, the instant Leonor reached the threshold of the church and paused. Just for a heartbeat. The camera lingered. The world watched. And Spain exhaled. But why that pause? What was happening behind the raised brows and shimmering tiaras? Within seconds, the groom's father leaned forward. A whisper. A gasp. The spectators shifted. Something had changed. Here's what we know so far, and here's where the deeper story lies. From Madrid to Copenhagen, Leonor, heir apparent of the Spanish throne, entered the Grand Church in Denmark. Many expected a traditional Spanish ceremony, French lace, a somber processional. Instead, Danish brass heralds, a minimalist veil, a subtle nod to Scandinavian royal sensibility. The contrast, sharp, the emotions, immediate. As the vows began, Leonor looked not just towards her groom but across a congregation of aerial cameras, world leaders, and thousands of waving flags. In that moment, the familiar image of the Spanish princess shifted into something more, an international symbol of bridge building. Spain watched, Denmark felt honored. Yet something beneath the grace stirred. And here's the first curiosity loop. What was the quiet exchange between Leonor and her father, King Felipe VI, just moments before she left the palace? He reached for her hand. Her smile held both excitement and a trace of hesitation. Spain's press noted it. The world barely saw. Why that hesitation? It wasn't shock. It was weight. The weight of expectation, of duty, of legacy, of what a royal marriage must say. And Leonor chose a path slightly off script. The wedding proceeded, the ring placed, the kiss, the outpouring of applause. But then, unexpected, Leonor drew her groom aside and whispered something. The cameras followed the groom's head tilt, the bride's soft laugh. Spain's social media buzzed. What did she say? Why smile now? Is this defiance, or delight? And that became loop 2. Because moments later, during the reception inside the palace's gilded hall, a toast was raised. Not by the king, not by the groom's father, but by Leonor herself. In flawless Spanish, she thanked her new family in Denmark, acknowledged Spain's heritage, yet looked forward to a future defined less by lineage and more by partnership. A royal bride speaking as a peer. A seemingly small shift, but seismic. Here's context we need. Leonor is only in her early 20s, yet represents a monarchy modernizing in a global age. Spain, with its decades-old royal tradition, watched as one of its own stepped into a new role, not just as future queen, but as a bridge. Denmark, with its own quietly powerful monarchy, welcomed her. Family tension. The Spanish royal tradition expects gravitas, the Danish monarchy prides itself on accessibility. Leonor's wedding melded both, and stirred both admiration and unease. Loop 3 then opens. During the dancing later that evening, Leonor and her new husband left the main floor and headed to a smaller terrace overlooking Copenhagen's canal. They stood for a moment in silence. The groom took her hand. The lights dimmed. A hush fell. The palace photographer captured it. 2 silhouettes, the city's lights behind them. Spain's tabloids called it the moment she became herself. But what did that mean? In that hush, you sense the private side of royalty, the solitary weight of stepping into a public life. The moment wasn't about pomp, it was about connection. And Spain felt the ripple, their future queen, stepping into the spotlight, not as a relic of dynasty, but as a woman embracing choice. And yet, there were undercurrents. A cross-continental guest list, whispered discussions in the corridors of the palace about alliances, about image, about relevance. Some traditionalists in Spain murmured, has the Spanish crown lost its seriousness? While others cheered, this is renewal. Leonor balanced both. She honored Spain's royal past, while signaling a forward-looking future. As the day ended, the final scene, Leonor and the groom emerging onto the balcony, thousands of cheering well-wishers below, flashing cameras above. But instead of waving at the crowd alone, she reached out and pulled her father beside her. They both raised their hands together, Spain's king and its princess, now joined in a moment of union and transition. It was symbolic, potent. That image answers one question, but sparks another. What will this marriage mean for Spain's monarchy? Will it shift the public's expectations? Will it redefine what it means to be royal in the 21st century? The wedding was celebration, but also proposition. So, what can we take away? First, love and duty intertwined. Leonor didn't discard tradition, she honored it, then quietly reframed it. Second, international diplomacy through marriage isn't medieval, it's modern. Spain and Denmark, two monarchies with distinct paths, united not just families, but visions. Third, the power of image. That brief moment on the terrace, the toast from the bride, the balcony embrace, all these forged a narrative about monarchy evolving. The union of Princess Leonor and her groom wasn't just a wedding. It was a statement, a moment where Spain held its breath, and then found something unexpected, a bride not just ready to walk down the aisle, but ready to step forward into a new era. In Denmark, they offered their hand and their example. Because when the ceremony ended, the world didn't see one fairy tale wedding. They saw a turning point. Spain may still be speechless, but now, it is watching with eyes open.